Good morning. Can you all hear me well? Great. If you hear me well, please raise your hand. Wonderful. The last Dharma talk, I was sitting at the back of the hall and I could not hear very well. So it gave me some pressure. I told myself, today will be my turn, and how would the sound be? So that's why I have to check a little bit. So those of you who are at the back of the hall, you hear every word that I'm saying, or you hear only sounds? Okay. Good morning, especially for our little friends here. Did you sleep well? No. Okay, we hear some yes, we hear some no. That's very normal. I'm going to speak a little bit about something that you can do when you go home. And it's very lucky that your parents are also here, so they also can know what you will do. Are you with me? Great. We will talk a little bit about unhappiness, about suffering. Are you suffer when you got bullied by somebody? Are you suffer because you want something and your parents didn't give it to you? Or you want something and your parents ask you to do something else? And for parents, you definitely have suffered too. When you want your kids to do something and then they have their own minds. They want to do their own ways, even though you think it's not a good way. So today I'm going to mention a little bit about listening. We think we listen to each other, but most likely we listen to what we want to hear in our mind. If we want something, we don't listen clearly what the other person say, but we can hear only what we want to hear. So the first thing is, please be relaxed. And don't have to be too stressful in listening. If it gets into your mind, that's good. If it's not, that's good also. It will get in, either by this way or the other way. You know, when we live with each other, we can create unhappiness moment along with happiness moment. Your parents have suffering too. But because you don't listen, so you think only you who are suffer when your parents told you what to do, what not to do. And you are so busy that you cannot listen to your parents. And same thing sometimes as an adult. We want our kids to do something that we want, and we didn't listen to them. We just ask them to do what we think is the best. But what is best, according to our thinking, might not be best for the children. So we learn to come back to ourselves. We learn to be attentive in what we are thinking. And we learn to listen. We listen to our own suffering. Everyone has suffering. We're suffering because nobody listened to us. We're suffering because we were told of doing what we don't want to. And we suffer because things doesn't go the way we want it to be. no matter what age you are, children or adult, every one of us have some suffering, including our monks and nuns. We are also human beings. We have our own suffering. And when we be able to listen to our own suffering, we can understand ourselves better. When we listen to other people's suffering, we can understand that person better. And when we understand, we can feel less angry to the person, and we can love the person, maybe just a little bit. But we can accept the person, and compassion can be born. For each one of us, even we are an adult, we have a wounded child inside us. Because during the time when we was little, we also was wounded. We also was suffered because of our parents or other people. And we carry that wounded child inside us until now. And we never listen to it. We run away from our own suffering because we are so busy. Also because we don't want to face it. We don't want to deal with it one more time. It was so painful. It was so hurtful. So we learn to listen. We learn to come back to ourselves, listen to our own wounded child, listen to our own suffering, so that we can feel compassionate to ourselves. And only when you feel compassionate to yourself, you can feel compassionate to others. Isn't it true that you can only give people what you have? If you're not happy, you cannot give people happiness. If you are grouchy, you always give other people a difficult time. And when we go to the retreat, we want to treat ourselves. We want to come back and become a better person, a more joyful person, a person that are happy, and a person that don't feel grouchy. It would be good for you to have some time for yourself, for children to play, for adults to relax, and to contemplate on yourself. Go home to yourself. Be with yourself. Don't let other things carry you away anymore. Then you can listen to yourself and you can generate the energy of compassion to you and to others. There is one bodhisattva, one great being that called Avalokita or Avalokiteshvara. That person has the capacity of listen to everything. That person can listen for a long time for you to relieve, for you to feel less suffer. And that is a great gift if we can learn to be like that. And I do believe that all of us, we do have that capacity. So if we love someone, if we love ourselves, we have to know how to be deep listening. And what is deep listening? You listen without judging. You just listen. You use your breath to generate the energy of mindfulness so it can embrace your suffering when you touch it. You know it's okay. It's okay to be suffer. but we have the way to make it less suffer. And only when you can get more compassion arise, your suffering can be healed. So if you love your mother, go home. If your mother is not happy, you can ask mommy, what happens to you? Please tell me. Maybe we cannot do anything, but through what your mommy tell you, you can feel that you should not do certain things to make your mom less suffer. Sometimes most adults just say, oh, mommy is okay, don't worry. But in fact, as children, we did something too that make mom not happy. So if we love our mother, we know what to do and what not to do. But the first thing is we have to learn how to listen. Instead of mom say, okay, and then you run away and you say, oh, mom, I'm busy. Oh, mom, I have something to do. Then we don't give mommy a chance to express her concern, to express her suffering. But also we don't allow ourselves the chance to help mother, to make mother to become sweeter, to make mother to become fresher. And that's the same thing with your father, with your grandparents. Well, for parents, you know that our own suffering comes from a lot of other reasons. And it can be the suffering of your parents, of your ancestors, of your people, of your nation, of your generation, of the world. So what we can do is we listen to our own suffering. We understand where it is, why it's there, and we generate the energy of compassion to let it have a chance to be healed. A lot of people would like to have peace. But if you don't have peace yourself, how can you offer peace to the world? So let's listen to the monks and the nuns. They will chant the name of the Avalokita, the person who knows how to listen and how to have compassion and love to offer to everyone. The first time they chant, they recognize their own suffering. And they generate love and compassion from there. On the second time that they chant, they recognize the suffering of people around them. And the third time, they recognize the suffering that are happening right now in the world, in every corner of the planet. The hunger, the war, the pandemic, the death, the poverty, so many other things that are happening right now in the same planet that we are living. So when they recognize and they listen to the suffering like that and they generate the energy of compassion, they also offer that energy to the world. And you can help to participate. You can sit relaxingly and listen and follow your breath. Also be in touch with your own suffering. Also generate the energy of love and compassion and offer it to everywhere else. Thank you. Please stand up and offer the chant.
Nam mô So dear Tede Sangha, now we would like to invite the kids program, the tweens program, and the teens program to, together we can stand up, turn to mom and dad and the Sangha, the community, and bow to the community. And now you're invited to, you can leave the hall and go to your program to have your own separate talk. Thank you. And after the kids, tweens, and teens leave, we invite all the adults to, you can fill in the front rows. Thank you, to support and have a collective energy. Thank you.
Dear respected Thầy, dear friends, welcome to the retreat. May I ask how many of you have been in the retreat before with Plum Village? Thank you. So how many of you are new, very first time here? Wow, okay, thank you. We don't have much time to go deep into things, and normally a retreat should be around 5 days to 7 days for you to fully have enough time to practice and to transform. But we do the best we can, and I sincerely wish all of you will have something to bring home after the retreat. So please utilize your time here to train yourself for some new technique, for some new ways, some new skill, so that it can help you retreat. I actually know about last week is harmony at home and peace in the world. And this is something that is kind of like a verses that we put down for all of us to practice for this particular year. We all would like to live in harmony. I doubt that there is a person who wants to be in confront with a lot of conflicts and a lot of difficulties in the daily life. So we do want to live in harmony, especially with our loved ones. Home is a place where we always call home sweet home. It should be a place where we can feel comfortable, we can be ourselves, and we can get nourished. We probably have to deal with a lot of tension and a lot of difficulties in society, in our jobs, in the relationship with boss, with co-workers. And when we come home, that is a place where we can be fully relaxed, fully feel comfortable. Now, what if home is not sweet home? What if you go home and you get into a frozen relationship that people don't look at each other lovingly, or there are misunderstandings that cannot be resolved for a while? Then that's such a pity. The teaching of the Buddha is that we are responsible for our actions. Yes, there are things that come from the other person, but this is because of that is. Because I am like this because you are like that. Or you are like that because I am like this. So in all relationships, we partially contribute part of it. If it's good, our contribution is good. If it has some difficulties, it's also because of partly come from us. We probably feel like we didn't do anything. But maybe we did something that we think is correct, but under the eyes of the other person is not correct. Your definition is different than his definition or her definition. I remember one time in Plum Village, there was a young nun, and she's French. And she came in, and she became my mentee. She's cute, she's fresh, she's full of joy, but there is one small thing that irritates her roommate, which is when she gets up, she never folds her blankets. And when a monastic, we live like 3-4 people in one room. One bed that is not very tidy, it irritates other people. Of course, if you have your own room at home right now, you can leave it unfolded for the whole month, and nobody would open the door and come in and say anything. But when you live together, it becomes a big deal. So I was trying to explain to her that this is not her house anymore. This is a monastery, and it is, I wouldn't want to say the rules, but it is an expectation that everybody should fold their blankets after using it. And I used the word, it's a norm. Don't you understand that? And she looked at me and she said, it's your norm, but it's not my norm. And I was shocked. Being raised differently, being educated differently, living in a different culture, and also different generation. Yes, what I call is norm is not her norm. And when I spoke with her mother said, yeah, at home I let her do whatever she wants. She doesn't have any clue that is something she should do. So I learned a lesson from it. There is something we always see like, this is a norm. Why didn't that person do it? Be careful. The definition is quite different. And and also, I learned that most of the conflicts come from things that are very, very little. We might agree in something big, like let's go to Deer Park, for example. Maybe the whole family, every members agree, but when we come to like what time should we leave, how long should we stay, shall we go to the beach after that, etc. Shall I bring this to wear? Shall I bring this to play? Then it comes to some conflicts, and it needs some negotiation on that. So it's easy to agree on big things, but little things, different colors, can cause some conflict already. Not talking about misperception. There's one story that I keep telling people because it happened to me, and it's still vivid in my memory. It's about going to the hamlet, and I used to stay in France, and in France there are 3 hamlets. Upper Hamlet, that is close to Lower Hamlet, and New Hamlet, that is further away, about 35 minutes driving. So for the summer retreat over there, we take turn, one Dharma talk on one hamlet. And at that time, Thay was still with us. I was working in the office, so I was trying to catch up some last-minute work. And that summer, I was staying in Upper Hamlet with another sister who is taking care for the office and the treasurer. So everybody's supposed to leave at 8:45. But the talk won't start until 9:40 or 9:30, something like that. And I keep looking at the watch and I say, okay, I can leave at 9 o'clock. And I look around, trying to find some means, some transportation, because most people leave together at 8:45, and only people with particular job or particular responsibilities stay and leave later. So I found one brother and he's taking care for the sound system. At that time, Plum Village was pretty primitive. So we have only one sound system that we have to bring with us and carry to each hamlet. So I was so happy. I told him, okay, what time you leave? He said, 9 o'clock. I said, great. Make sure you wait for us. We are 2 sisters. He said, don't worry. At 9 o'clock, I showed up at the parking lot. The car was gone. And of course, you know how much frustration I was at that time, because I already told him, he already promised, and under the pressure that we can be late for the talk. So, needless to say how much irritation I was, I found one layperson with her own car, and she agreed to let us carpool to go to New Hamlet. By the time we went to New Hamlet, we arrived to New Hamlet. On the way to the meditation hall, I found him. And you guess, the first thing I would like to tell him is to yell to him. But of course, you know, since we all learn about breathing in, breathing out, and recognize your own feelings and all of that, so I'll stop, I'll breathe, and I'll try to use my most nice voice and calm voice to ask him, why can't you do something like that? And you know what is his answer? Sister, it was not me. The car was driven by somebody else. I ran after the car, but I couldn't get in the car neither. So I have to also get a lay practitioner and try to be here on time. So, you know, some little thing like that can happen. And it can happen naturally. Because he left the car over there with the key. And probably he just came in to get his water bottle or something like that. There is another brother who thought that the time is coming and the sound system's still here. It can be late. Maybe something happened to the brother who's responsible, but he doesn't have time to run around and find that brother. So he decided that first he should take care of the sound system to make sure the Dharma talk can start on time. So he got in and he drove. So, you know, it's an action out of love, but not very understanding. Now, after that, I don't know whether those 2 brothers have to do beginning a deal with each other or not. But I remember that was my first experience. Do not react too quickly. So, at home, we can do our own exercise. How many times that we didn't do deep listening, but we react. And when we found out the truth, and we said, I am sorry, some damage already been done. Because out of anger, out of irritation, sometimes we spoke something that we shouldn't have said, or we act something that can cause the other person, I wouldn't say break the heart, but don't feel easy. And normally, I think that you all agree with me that only the person we love the most can hurt us the most. So if the same thing like that happened but came from somebody else, we can let it go by easily. But if it came from somebody that we love, we judge it, we gave it more weight, we said that person did it intentionally, and we suffer. So the key to be in harmony is that we have to know how to listen. Sometimes with perception, we said, "Oh, I know he's going to explain like that, and I don't believe it." But we still have to learn how to listen. We listen in order for the other person to get a chance to express himself or herself. We also listen for the other person to feel less suffering. Because listening doesn't mean that everything that person says we agree. But we still have to listen, because maybe after listen we can find out the reason why he has been acting like that. Because you thought that you didn't do anything wrong. Why did he act like that to you for the whole week? Why the relationship between the two becomes so difficult now? So give the other person a chance to talk. Your gesture to listen, your willingness to listen is very important. It encourages the person to speak out. And just listen with your breath. Use your breath to embrace your emotion during your listen. You can feel that he's accusing, that's fine. Use your breath. Breathing in, I know I'm listening with the purpose that I'm listening for him to feel less suffering. Maybe after he finished speaking, he and you realize that the reason is very small. It's just a little misunderstanding. But it can resolve a situation that probably has been happening for a long time. But first, to be in harmony with other people, first you have to be in harmony within yourself first. Just like before the monks and nuns chant, we recognize the suffering inside ourselves, then we recognize the suffering in other people. Same thing with being in harmony. You have to be in harmony with yourself. If inside you have conflicts, and you cannot be in harmony with yourself, then how can you generate the energy of love and peace and give it to other people? Because you yourself don't feel like that. We all have a body. But are we aware all the time about our body? Do we know that what part of our body right now is not in a good shape, is in trouble, is calling for help? Or we continue to stay late, to drink, to do something that can damage to our body? You know, the pandemic that not really over, but the peak time was over, gave all of us a lesson that life is very precious. To be alive is a miracle. And to have a body so-called healthy is also a miracle. So we have to treasure it. And in order to treasure it, we have to find harmony inside our body. In the 16 exercises that the Buddha taught us, the third one is aware, breathing in, I'm aware of my body. And the fourth one, breathing in, I calm my body. Our body is always in tension. We don't like it, but it just happened like that. I find myself sometimes very stiff as well. It just react naturally to something stress, to something come up. And if we don't love our body, who can love it? Your doctor? I don't think so. They just give you medicine. But heal or not is your problem. They, based on the code, they can prescribe you a lot of things. But it's you who can heal yourself. So first, you have to be in harmony. You have to do always all kind of things to be in harmony, especially with your body. Listen to your body. Pay care to your body, to every part of your body. Take care of it. Send love to it. Like the heart. It works non-stop for life. Have we ever stopped and think of it? When I did like this, to reflect my own suffering, I also feel my heart was beating. And I thought to myself, how many times that I actually put my hands into my heart and listened to it. Maybe only when my heart have problems and call for help or make me feel tired, then I pay attention to it. But normally, we don't have that compassion toward ourselves. Same thing with our eyes. We still have good eyes. And I really don't pay much attention to my eyes until my eyes have problems. Until the doctor said, if you don't take care of it, you can get blind one day. Then I run back home and trying to do all kinds of things to protect it. But while during the time it's still good, we all have the tendency to take it for granted. So we exhausted our eyes by looking at the monitor, by looking at things that are not necessary, don't give it enough rest, all kinds of things. And not just eyes. When you do scanning through your body, you see there are so many parts in your body that you have neglected it. You never pay any attention until it calls for help. I had one accident one time, a car accident, and of course it affects into my spine, and it makes me have a stiff back for a couple months. The very first day I was able to come back to the meditation hall and bend down to do the prostration in front of the Buddha, even though with difficulty, I was in tears. Because there is no reason, being a nun and you cannot do prostration. And at that time I was younger than now. I wouldn't say too young, but younger than now. I thought to myself, how I still have a whole life in front of me. How can I live with a back that cannot bend down? And I cannot walk fast. I can walk very slowly. Actually, at that time, whenever I do walking, my monastic siblings told me, wow, you walk like Sư ông, you walk like Thầy, because I walk so slow. That's not my habit. So I still remember vividly, every single time I bend down to do prostration, I thought to myself, oh, how lucky I still can do this. I'm so grateful that now I can do everything normal. But you don't have to wait until some accident happens, until some part of your body doesn't work, then you feel happy. Be aware of it. Treasure it. Love it. And support it. So if your body is in harmony, then your mind can be taken care of. You know, mind and body are related. So if you feel pain in your body, how can you feel at ease in your mind? Unless you really have to practice. When we talk about mind, we have so many things to talk about. We talk about mental formations. We talk about feelings. We talk about all kinds of abstract things that can control us and make us feel happy or sad. There is one practice in Buddhism that called the Four Diligence. That is, if your mind is dealing with something happy, try to keep it. Try to keep it as long as it is in your mind. If there is something negative, something not pleasant happen, they come up. Sometimes you don't want to invite them, but they just come up. They come up from your stored consciousness. They come up from your memory. Then don't touch it. Let it be there. Embrace it with your mindfulness. So at one point it will disappear. Don't let it stay in your mind and manipulate you and become your master and make you do things that you don't want to do, make you say things that you don't want to say. You know, sometimes we are not very skillful. We know that if we read that books or we read that news or we watch that film, it can water the seeds of fear in us. But we cannot stop doing it. We continue to do it. And then, obviously, we become more fearful. I remember my mother. She's 86 now. She learns how to go into internet. And, of course, you know, there's so much things in internet. There are useful things, but they also have junks. And I guess her generation also learned how to go into internet. So they love to send to each other news. And my Buddha, she becomes so fearful about things that I couldn't understand. So I tried to talk to her. I said, Mom, it's not true. The internet, people like to have views, so they put a lot of junk up there, and you shouldn't spend your time reading it. Well, now she's better. She didn't read much, but before I came home, she read about all kinds of things. And she said, oh, the war can happen. And when the pandemic just started, she said, we have to store everything because one day we probably cannot have things to eat. And I just had to take her into the market and try to tell her, that's enough, Mom. You don't have to get all of that. But I can also understand by listening to her with her generation that go through times when there were not enough food to eat, when there was war, then it become safety mechanism. And the minute something not really at peace happened, it brought her automatically back to that because her seat was touched. And it brought back all of the memory. So she said, no, we have to save water, we have to save this, we have to save that. And she bought junks. And I said, Mom, we never eat this. Why did you buy it now? It's okay. If we don't eat it, we can give it away. But at least we have to have something at home so then I feel at ease. So think back about ourselves. What seeds that we don't want, but we water it because of our unmindful, we call unmindful consumption. So let's practice that we water only the seed, the positive seeds that we want it to be in our consciousness. And when we deal with something that are very negative and it's not very helpful, try not to water it. Lately, I took care of my garden. I came from France and I stayed with my parents to take care of them at the old age. And I could see that taking care of the garden is just like taking care of your mind. There are weeds that I have to pull out, and there are seeds of flower that I want to plant. And because California is not very generous in water, when I water, I really have to select which seed I want to water. So each one of us have our own garden. Our mind is our garden. Select things that you want to water. You want your garden to have flowers, not to have weeds and dead soil and yellow haze and things like that. And you become fresh, and you become beautiful, and you become peaceful. That's all in your hand. So, in the practice, we don't push the responsibility into other people's hand. Our happiness is in our hand. And the harmony in our house, also in our hand. Maybe your children or your loved ones are not here at the retreat. But if you want to change the situation in your house to be more harmonious, you are the one who have to change. You change yourself first, then the energy of love and compassion that you generate will change them. Don't expect. I have met people who always asking for condition. They call it conditional love. I can do this if she does that. I told her, no, love is unconditional. Because once you put condition into it, when the condition is not satisfied, you suffer. You give that one a chance to make you suffer. And you don't want to suffer. Everyone wants to be happy. Everyone wants to have freedom, a thought, happiness, liberation. So don't be victim of your own mental formation. Don't be victim of your own action. You know, when we truly understand why the person is doing it, compassionate can born easily. My parents sometimes say something that I'm not very happy with. But I understand why they say it. I understand their generation is like that. Their background is like that. So I can accept it easily. And I can see that I love them. I love them because, not just because they are my parents, but because I understand why they're doing it. They don't do it because they want me to suffer. They do it just because that's the way they are. And when we be able to open our heart to feel compassion to more people, then peace is possible. We cannot talk about peace. We said, oh, why is happening? Oh, let's do something for peace. But actually we didn't do much because we don't know what to do, and it can make us feel depressed when we look at the picture of the whole world. But from our limitation, we can do a lot. If you be able to make your home sweet home, if you be able to make your home is some place where people who come home feel they can be their real, they can be their real themselves, they can be accepted of whatever they're doing, and they can be understood. That is very important. In Vietnamese, there's the word called tri âm, knowing the sound, which means that you know and you understand the other person through the sound. So when the person can find enough courage to talk to you, to explain to you, be there, listen, be the soulmate of that person. So the person can feel that, yes, at least in the world, in this world, there are one person who can understand me. Most people find themselves feeling lonely, feeling being rejected, because they find out that nobody can understand them. Things can come from the society, and things can come from their loved ones, just because they got stuck into the communication. When the relationship become open and people can understand each other more, the healing process can take place. We don't ask for miracle, but we know that anything that we try hard, it can bring some fruits. Providing what we are doing is also being understood by other people. I have chance to talk to some mothers, and most mothers, or dads as well, feel like I'm doing the best for my children, but they don't understand that. They always complain me. They don't see my good heart. Why? I'm giving everything, and they reject it. Even they hate me. It's simple and easy, because what you feel like the best for your children is not what they be able to see that is best. To them, best have a different meaning. Some people feel hurt because their children love the other person than the parents. But actually, it's just because the other person understands them more. So we are lucky. We have a home, and we can make it to become sweet home. And we can make the harmony in one home possible. Only when it is possible like that, we can talk about peace in the world. Dear friends, during this retreat, you will get a chance to do walking meditation, and you can reflect your own mind. You can release your worriness to concentrate on your practice and bring some transformation home. This is a great chance. Your kids being taken care of by other people. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to cook. Some other people cook for you. All you have to do is practice. Our habit, energy, for so long cannot be changed right away. But we have some new ways to learn and to train ourselves. And we know that healing can come, transformation can come, providing that we continue to train ourselves. Don't expect something happen right away because you have 30-something, 20-something, 40-something years of doing things in such a same way, and then now you have to learn a new way. But if you're attentive in the practice, you can see transformation happen, and it can give you some faith that you can continue on your practice. For the monastics, we look the same, but we are not the same. Some of us have a couple of years, some of us has more than 10 years, some of us have more than 20 years. And the degree of freedom, the degree of suffering, the degree of joy in each one of us is different. But we all doing our best on our way of practice. And it's the same with you. We all attend the same retreat, but the degree of difference is also different. So you don't have a lot of time. Enjoy each moment you are here. Enjoy the scenery, enjoy your friends, enjoy your family in here. You can see your children can change when they are free. You can see another side of your children. And you can also see another side of yourself. This is a chance, and don't lose it. I always tell people, we are all equal. No matter who we are, we all have 24 hours. "24 hours of each person is equal, but how we use it. Why the other person become or are happy and you cannot? Maybe the conditions of life is different, but the conditions of being a human being is the same. And we all can reach the place of liberation. I wouldn't want to say it's nirvana because people misuse it and think that nirvana is something very abstract and very, very high. But actually, if you can liberate yourself, you can see that everything is so beautiful, even though we don't have enough rains, even though the leaves is not very green, it's still beautiful. So bring your awareness to appreciate everything that you see. The smile of your children, the smile of your neighbor, the kindness of a person you met on the road, everything. And when you be able to recognize only the positive, the beauty of others, you are living in a beautiful world. But if you pay attention to only the negative things, which is very easily jump into our eyes, things that is wrong, catch our attention very quickly. And I don't know, but it seems like we are trained to be picky. And if we see only the weakness of others, we live in the world that are full of imperfect things, and those can irritate us. So your 24 hours and your world of living depends on you. Depends on how you see things. Everybody, everything has two sides. Choose the beautiful sides to look at. There's a song, "Now I walk in beauty." Beauty is in front of me, is behind me, and all around me. That is a song of practice to help us to be more mindful in the beauty that are around us and everywhere. So the time is up. I don't think that people would like me to talk longer because we also have to be in queue for lunch, and the schedule is also full. But please remember, your future is in your hand, and your happiness is in your hand. We are here to give you support, but everything is in your hand. And if you have questions, we have private consultation that you can sign up if you want to speed up your transformation, or if you have questions about any kind of practice that you try but it's not successful. Please sign up for private consultation and talk to some Dharma teachers and monks and nuns, so then your retreat here can be fruitful when you come home. Thank you.